Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ramani. A couple days ago, I posted a video about my recent weight loss journey. And by recent, I mean in the last 2 years, I've really changed some things up. All right, just a little bit of backstory on me. I am a personal trainer and a yoga instructor, but since being on this journey, I've been learning a lot. Like, I thought that I knew a whole bunch when I first lost my weight 10 years ago, but this has been such an ongoing journey and I'm literally learning things every single day. And so when I learn those things, I want to tell y'all these things so y'all can know them too. So I posted a video about what I eat in a day and I was just showing my smoothies and my juices and my meals, and the video did really well, but the comments made me realize that a lot of people don't know the information that I know. And I don't say that to be like bragging or anything, but you know, when you get into the swing of things, you think that everybody else is living the same way that you are living. And sometimes we just think that what we know is common knowledge to other people. But when I was reading the comments, I was like, maybe I can make a video on this and explain further so we can all just learn a little bit more and take our health a little bit more serious and really prioritize our health, not even just weight loss, but just gut health, clear skin, energy, better sleep. Like, maybe if I make this video, more people will learn how to really prioritize themselves. So that is what we are talking about today. I am going to be so transparent when I say that the American diet is holding you back. If you live in America and you are watching this, the American diet is holding you back. We are eating 3 meals a day. We're eating 3 large meals a day. So most times you are eating when you're not hungry, you're overeating. And then those 3 large meals don't even have the nutrients that the human body really needs. We are eating processed foods. We are eating tons of sugar, tons of carbs, and sugar and carbs are not bad, but in excess, it can cause a lot of harm in your body. If you've ever been wondering why you are experiencing breakouts, constipation, lack of energy, poor sleep, it is probably tied to your diet. And sometimes people don't understand until they change their diet and they start to see their lives change. And I was one of those people. When I first started my weight loss journey years and years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, I was dealing with acne. I was overweight. I was often constipated. But I thought that these things were normal. I had never really eaten a healthy diet. I was always active, but my eating habits were a standard American eating habits, you know. I just was not eating good. So I was always dealing with these complications. And I remember even going to the dermatologist and them giving me, you know, creams and toners when all I really needed to do was start drinking water and stop drinking juice and constant sugar. And once I did that and I saw things change, that is when I started, you know, moving forward in my weight loss journey. So I was like, okay, I don't know how to lose weight. I don't know what's going on in my body. And I'm in high school at the time. I didn't know what was going on in my body, but I was like, I am going to just drink a gallon of water a day. I'm not going to change anything else up. I'm just going to drink the gallon of water a day and I'm not going to drink anything else. And in that 1 week, I lost 3 pounds. And that is when I started really diving into weight loss and healthy eating. And then I saw my skin clear up and I started sleeping better and I started feeling better. But more recently, now that I'm an adult, you know, when you get into adulthood and you start going to the happy hours and you hanging out and you're doing a lot of things, you can start to gain that weight back, which is what I did. I actually just made a video last week about how I gained all of the weight that I had initially lost. So now I am on a newfound journey in my adulthood, and it looks a lot different than what I was doing when I first was losing weight, because now I'm an adult and your metabolism is different. Life is just different. So for the past 2 years, I've really been focusing on a holistic living journey. So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a raw vegan or a pescatarian. I don't do the labels. A lot of people want to label me and box me into something, and they're like, are you a vegan? Are you this? Girl, I don't know. Don't ask me none of them questions. I just eat what feels good in my body, and I don't restrict myself. If I'm craving something, I'm going to eat my cravings. But more often than not, because I am eating in a way that aligns with my body, I am not craving things all the time. I may have like 1 or 2 cravings a month, and that is near my cycle. So let's really talk about some of the things that have helped me. One thing that I can always tell you that you need to include in your diet is watery food. So like foods that are made of water, watermelon, apples, oranges, anything that can produce juice you need to be eating because it is made of water, and your body is mostly made of water. When you start consuming more water-based fruits and vegetables, you're going to stay hydrated for longer. So it's just like if you were drinking a lot of water, you're going to see your skin clear up, you're going to have more bowel movements, you're not going to be as constipated. You're going to see all of that when you start to have the watermelons and the apples and the oranges and things like that. So if you are dealing with any type of acne, anything on the skin, really start looking up some water-based vegetables and fruits, and you can choose the ones that you like. If you don't like certain things, I always say do not force yourself to eat certain things. If you don't like oranges, don't eat oranges, but if you like apples, then you want to consume the apples. And I'm the type of person who likes to consume these things every day. So it's not just like I'm gonna do this for 1 week, I'm gonna have this for 14 days. No, these are things that you need to eat more often than not, more than half the week. And I say more than half the week, but me personally, I'm gonna eat it every day. Every single day I have at least one avocado, a bell pepper, an apple. Like I eat all of these things mainly because I make smoothies and I like to put things in my smoothies. But as far as like my dinner, I'm always eating a raw vegetable with my dinner. And I just talked about this in another video I made last week about how eating raw vegetables have really helped me and my skin and my body. So this is not a quick fix. This is something that you are going to have to do all the time. I also want to point out that most people are dehydrated, which is why your skin may be feeling dry, which is why you are constipated. It's because the processed foods that we are having is not giving us life. But what is going to give you life is those foods that, like when you bite into it, like I said, a lot of juice comes out. And I don't know if I said cucumber, but cucumber is coming to mind right now. Cucumber is also a really good water-based vegetable to eat. So whenever your digestion is slow, or even when you are bloated, because I know that a lot of people experience bloating and gut health issues, it may be because you are dehydrated and you are not consuming things with a high water content, and you might be consuming too much salt. Typically when we are bloated, unless you've had something like leafy greens, because leafy greens can make you bloated, but if you just had some chips or like some processed food, it is probably your body just holding on to the water that it already has, because salt causes water retention in the body. So then you just start to look puffy and you start to look bloated. So basically stop eating the processed foods, start eating the water-based foods. Okay, let's go on to the next thing, because I feel like we've been talking about this forever. I've always been a very big fan of smoothies. They help me stay full for longer, and then I'm not eating as much as I typically would be if I had a full meal. So I'm getting less calories, but I'm still getting a lot of nutrients because I like to put a lot of things in my smoothies. I will jam pack my smoothies with nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, it does not matter. And I am not a protein powder type of girl, so I know that people are always like, how are you getting protein? A lot of people don't know that nuts and seeds have protein in them. So I like to use raw almonds. Do not put dry roasted or like oven roasted almonds in your smoothie, but you can use raw almonds that have no taste in them. You can put them in your smoothies. Girl, do not put no oven roasted almonds in there. I literally made the mistake like a few weeks ago because I had picked up some almonds, didn't read it, put the almonds in the smoothie. I was just telling my best friend this. Put the almonds in the smoothie and it literally tasted like chicken. I was pissed off. It was a lot going on, but I learned to read the label before I start putting things in my smoothie. So if you are going to use nuts, just make sure they are completely raw nuts. But all nuts have lots of protein in them, like 6 grams to like maybe like 15 grams, depending on how much nuts you are putting in your smoothie and then the type of nuts that you're using. You can use walnuts, pistachios, all the things, you can do that. And then seeds are very good. Hemp seeds, I love hemp seeds because you can barely taste them and they have so much protein. I also really like chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds have so much protein in them as well. And once these are blended in a smoothie, you are not even going to taste it. And it is going to be much cheaper than if you are going out and buying a $50 to $80 protein powder that you can only use for like maybe 2 weeks, and it has tons of sodium, and that is also going to keep you constipated or have diarrhea just because of the ingredients that are used in protein powder. So you can only use but so much. But with nuts and seeds, you can use in abundance and you can get the amount of protein that you want to get in your smoothie. And then it's super quick. So the people who are saying, I have things to do, I don't have time time to cook, you can always make you a smoothie, especially if it's during the day or at night, you can make you a smoothie. Now, as far as the liquid that you are using when it comes to the smoothie, do not just go out and use some Sunny D or like some sugary type of juice. You can use almond milk, not sweetened. You can use almond milk, you can use coconut water, you can use regular water. And if you are using regular water, the tip that I do to sweeten up my regular water is I add dates to the water. So if you don't know what a date is, dates are a fruit, but they are super sweet. So like if you go into the honey aisle in your local grocery store, you can even find date syrup. That is how sweet dates are. You're gonna open the date, you're gonna take the seed out. Do not blend the seed in the date. Do not blend the date seed in the blender. You're gonna take the seed out and then you're just going to put the date in there, and I want you to blend it in some water, and then that is going to sweeten your water up. And you can use like 1 or 2 dates. You don't need a lot because they are really sweet, but that is also going to sweeten up your smoothies. And then if you ever want a snack, a lot of people put like nuts inside of dates to replace the seed. So you always want to take the date seed out. You put nuts in it, and then like some people drizzle chocolate on it and then they eat it and they say like it tastes like a Snickers or something if you put peanut butter on it. So dates are really sweet. I say all that to say dates are very sweet. And then as far as like my eating regimen throughout the day, I know that people feel like breakfast is the most important meal of the day and you should have eggs, bacon, sausage, biscuits, ham. I'm not doing none of that. For the most part, I do not eat until noon, and it's not on purpose. It's just because I wake up around maybe like 8 or 9. Once I've done my morning routine, I go walk and I go to the gym. I don't even be ready to eat anything until noon. So up until then, I'm usually having water and tea, and then I will have a smoothie. So a smoothie is typically my first meal of the day, which I feel is really good because I'm having fruit, and it is just like the first thing that hits my digestive system is fruit. It gets me going. But even before then, since I'm already having the tea and the water, I'm already going. So like as soon as I wake up, I immediately start drinking water. So that is also something that you can start implementing. Immediately drink water as soon as you wake up. I have a big Stanley cup. So let's say if I wake up at 8, from 8 to 9, I completely finish my entire Stanley cup. And I want to say a Stanley cup is like either 32 to 40 ounces of water. And then I really stay away from refined sugars and processed foods. And when I say refined sugars and processed foods, I mean any type of fast food. Any food that you are not cooking in your home is considered fast food to me because I didn't make it. But I will have it like maybe once a month because I do like to go to dinner with a friend like once a month or maybe twice a month. Unless I'm going on vacation, then I'm just gonna eat what I want. I'm not too rigid on vacation. But if I am at home and I am on my normal regimen, I typically am cooking what I am eating. Now, like I said before, I do have cravings. I am a sweets person, so I will crave donuts. Everybody who knows me knows I love donuts. So I will crave donuts and I will crave hot Cheetos, but I typically only crave these things once a month, and it is about 2 weeks before my cycle, before I am getting into that luteal phase. So I know my body and I know when I'm craving these things. If I do happen to crave these things outside of the luteal phase, I am not going to eat it because I don't need it. I don't even need it during the luteal phase, but you know, you about to be on your cycle, you need what you need. But all of the sugar and the processed sugar and the dairy, it all causes inflammation, and inflammation is what causes disease in your body. It's what causes mucus in your body. You know, when you are sick and you are constantly spitting up and you're constantly blowing your nose, it's because you have mucus in your body, and that mucus is fed by sugar and dairy products. So if you want to eliminate the inflammation in your body, you are going to need to dial it back on the sugar and the dairy. And I want you, like I said, to start eating those water-based fruits. I don't know if I talked about any meats, but you can start having lean meats. So like, you know, just different fish. I don't eat red meat. I really just don't eat it because I stopped eating it maybe like 10 years ago, and now there's just really no reason for me to eat it. I dibble and dabble with chicken. I was not eating chicken for the last 5 years, but if you've been watching my channel, then you know I was living in Costa Rica last year, and girl, it was chickens running around everywhere, and they was making chicken, and so I said, let me just eat the chicken. So now that I'm back in the States, I am eating chicken, but I maybe eat it like once a month or once every 2 months. I am not a big chicken eater unless somebody is making it, or like I said, I go out to a restaurant or something. But for the most part, I am really big on fish. I like mahi mahi and I like salmon. That is what I get. And I get the really big frozen ones from Sam's Club, and that works for me. Now, I know after you watch a video like this, you feel super motivated. You're like, you know, I am going to change my life, and I want you to change your life, but I do want you to know that I did not do this in one day. Like I told you, I stopped eating red meat 10 years ago. I had stopped eating chicken 5 years ago. Like, this was an ongoing process for me. I did not wake up one day and just cut out everything. And I don't know if I spoke about alcohol, but I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I just cut alcohol out 2 years ago. So I'm completely alcohol free. But like most people, I spent years drinking alcohol. So I say all this to say, don't beat yourself up and try to do something, you know, tomorrow. I want you to make a solid plan. You can do that by just implementing maybe 1 or 2 things a month. So maybe starting next month, you are only going to eat seafood and you're not going to eat any red meat, or you are going to at least have 1 smoothie a day. You're going to replace one of your meals with 1 smoothie. You need to do something that is good for your schedule and good for the type of person that you are. Because me, I can just go balls to the wall and I'm like, I'm doing this and I'm gonna do it, and then I stick to it. But if you're a person who needs ease, then you really want to ease yourself into that and figure out, how does it look with me being healthy? Maybe you stop eating snacks. Maybe you just start snacking on nuts and fruit instead of the hot Cheetos and the Lay's chips. So it just depends on what kind of person you are and what really helps you stay disciplined in your life. So just remember to start small and listen to your body, and it's just an ongoing thing. Every day you just try to make different changes. Try not to think too far in advance. Just focus on today, and tomorrow is going to take care of itself. All right, you already know the drill. If you made it this far in the video, leave me a brown heart down in the comments so that I know that you made it this far in the video. And if you like videos like this, I have an entire weight loss healthy girl playlist. I'm going to link that down below so that you can binge watch some videos. And like I said, I am a personal trainer and a yoga instructor, so I will leave my 30-day weight loss plan down below, and then I'll also leave my yoga classes down below, because I teach hip-hop and R&B yoga, and I teach that in LA and virtually. So even if you're not in LA, you can still come take my classes. All right, y'all have a good day, and I will see you in my next video.